And that, my friends, is the song we promised you. A Mike Hinkle original is our new intro. We told you we'd deliver. We're a show late.
It's part of it.
We're a show late, but we did deliver finally. Welcome in. It's the No Nothing Podcast. I'm Ray.
And I'm Mike.
How are you guys? Have you seen this ridiculous shit with George Santos? I know you haven't because you don't watch anything related.
I don't.
Do you even know who George Santos is?
Man, I look like an idiot. No,
let me
government stuff.
So let me go through it. Let me go. I just want to go through it.
I'm gonna have to have some Maker's Mark 46 before we get into this because it's just politics and government stuff.
This is just
numbed out to this.
You're not gonna be numbed out to this. This is great.
All right, go.
If you don't find this as entertaining as I do, I'm sorry for wasting everyone's time. But so George Santos, the newly elected, openly gay, Jewish congressman. Well, because he said I'll go through this in a minute.
Okay.
So he
go
said
ahead,
he said he was Jewish, and when he was confronted about it, he's like, "No, I meant like my grandmother knew a Jewish person. Like I'm Jewish, like Jewish."
Like he had mannerisms.
Yeah.
I've got mannerisms.
But that
doesn't work.
But that's not what he said. What we're gonna have for you folks on the No Nothings podcast today are not all the lies, but just the highlights of this scumbag piece of shit. George Santos. Everything that has come out of this fat fuck's mouth is a complete and look, he's trying to play the game now. Like, well, look, everybody in politics embellishes their resume. They're like, yeah, but it's not a cradle to grave lie about every single step you've taken, which is what you've done. I cannot believe this clown show is still in the fucking Congress of the United States of America. But without further ado, for you, Mike, since you're probably the only one in America that's not like all up in the story, but
I hide in this house.
So we'll catch you up.
All right, catch me up.
Here are some of the lies from Congressman Santos, who hopefully is out of there soon. If you want to do the right thing, America, get his fat ass out of there. Here are all the lies that Santos has told. He was a volleyball star at Baruch College, where he had a full scholarship. 6'2" volleyball star, by the way. He's not 6'2". Didn't play volleyball at Baruch College. Didn't win a championship at Baruch College. Didn't beat Harvard. Didn't beat Yale. He goes on this show, goes on this podcast and tells me, like, yeah, all the teams in the Northwest were scared to play us. Well, come to find out, he tells this whole story about how great Baruch College volleyball team was and how they were just beating everybody's ass and nobody wanted to touch him. And, of course, he's the star. Well, come to find out, the story's true. Baruch College did have a very good volleyball team. They did have a 6'2" guy who was the star of said volleyball team. They did win these championships up the Northwest Quarter. They did beat Harvard and Yale. The only problem was it wasn't George Santos on the team. It was an old boss of his.
Oh, no.
He just incorporated his stories.
He just took an old boss that he had, took his stories that old boss had been telling for years.
And made them his stories.
But good story.
So it made it...
I don't know if like bragging about being on a volleyball team's cool in my book. But
well,
whatever.
no,
volleyball's cool. But
look, it would be a non-starter if that was the only lie. But let me just go. First of all, he graduated high school in 2008. So how did he graduate from Baruch College in 2010?
Oh.
That's where kind of the question started going. Well, here they are. We got the volleyball thing. You got the high school lie. He said he worked on Wall Street. Said he was the vice president of business development company called Linkbridge, which was not true. Said he managed a $1.5 billion fund for Harbor City Capital, where he got his clients returns of 12 to 26%, which was not true. Said he did incorporate a company called DeVolder, which he said had
pull it over here so you keep
which he said like had $80 million in assets. Said his mother died in 9/11 in the World Trade Center.
Oh no, and she didn't.
Fun fact: she died in 2016 and was in Brazil during 9/11.
Why would he say that?
You'll catch on in a minute.
That's messed up.
He's pathological.
He's a pathological liar.
Said his mom died in 9/11. She was in Brazil on 9/11. Didn't die till 15 years later in 2016. Claimed he was on Hannah Montana. Claimed his grandmother was a Holocaust survivor. Only problem is his grandmother's also from Brazil, and she's not old enough to have even been at the Holocaust ever.
But is she Jewish?
No, she's not Jewish. No. But he said he was Jewish, Jewish. Later to say. But it's also his name's not George Santos. There's another fun fact. He's actually went by Anthony DeVolder for 31 years. Stole checks in 2008. Wrote fraudulent checks. stole a Burberry scarf from one of his roommates and wore it to the Stop the Steal rally for Trump, and said he was the target of an assassination attempt. These are just a few of the lies this guy's told, and he's been caught on every single one of them. So these reporters are just following Santos around.
Oh my gosh.
He's going, he's trying to walk up to Congress. He's going to swear when he's going to swear in the other day.
Well, let me ask you this real quick before you tell that swearing in part. At what point do we do a background check on anybody that runs for stuff where they say these things and
Well, and here's
did he go to college? Did he graduate?
no one even knows here. But one of his roommates has come out and said that he'd been talking for about 5 years. He's like, look, all I got to do is get into Congress for one term. If I get in for one term, I get a pension for life. Doesn't matter how I get in. I don't give a shit if it's Republican, Democrat. I'll play the game. So
is that everybody's move then in America? We just one term, we get into Congress.
I think,
and then we'll all have it. We'll all be straight.
Well, we're not. Well, that's the math.
That's a great
the
idea.
math doesn't math, but he actually did it.
Yeah.
He did it by being as insane a liar as you can be. And then when he got there, he's kind of true. He said the one thing he said is kind of true. He's like, he's like, everybody in politics embellishes their resume. I don't know why y'all are coming after me.
But he doesn't even have a resume. It's made up.
It's all made up.
Sounds to me.
His life story. Dude, you lie about your mom dying in 9/11. You lie about you lie about your grandmother being a Holocaust. You lie, say that you're like
these terrible things like that happened in history. Is like, yeah, I was a part of all that.
It would just
feel bad for me.
Doing stuff be like he'll go on a financial podcast, be like, well, I was the vice president of business development for Linkbridge, and then Linkbridge will come out and be like, we've never heard of this guy. And he's like, yeah, I was managing a $1.5 billion fund for Harbor City Capital, and I get clients 12 to 26% returns. They're like,
hey, call the SEC.
They're like, that's absurd. No one's ever got. Who gets those returns? He's like, I get them.
Bernie Madoff got them.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Yeah. Very.
I watched that Bernie Madoff thing, and it was good.
Oh yeah, it's real good.
The Bernie Madoff. What is it? I forget. It was like some streaming thing, but it's great.
And you got
they break that down.
Sam. What's his name? I've already forgot the guy. Sam Bankman-Fried, the guy that just did the with the FTX deal. I mean, it's like the Santos story kind of took the light off of him, so no one's really talking about him. It's like a storyline in America only has about a 6-day shelf life. So it's like Trump gets caught with documents classified. We get tired talking about that. Holy shit, Biden gets caught with classified documents. We're like, well, shit, we'll talk about this for 3 days. But then guess what? Now Mike Pence gets caught with classified documents. I'm looking around my house if I've got some classified documents.
I know. That's what when you texted me that I said, "Hey, you're next, Ray. They're gonna find some classified documents at your house." Let me just say this. Say what you said to me earlier about how you read classified documents and how in the world would they end up anywhere?
Yeah. So all the politicians, if you start watching these interviews and stuff, they're like, "Well, this is how it works when you get to view classified documents. They take you in this room." The ship room or something, but you have to leave all your devices. You have to take your phone off. You have to take your Fitbit off. Anything that's got electronics has got to come off. You're getting scanned by Secret Service. They're walking you in the room. They pull the documents out of like the locked box or wherever it's at. Then they read you the documents or present you the documents. Then everyone leaves. How did all these people get out of there with these classified documents? And what is classified? Is anything really
like what? I'd like to know what classified, okay, so they get classified documents.
Cool.
If they're going in a room or whatever, they're like, well, I'm just going to take these home, give them a real quick pop.
Give them a once-over.
Give them a once-over at the
but
house.
the point, they said they would tell you no, absolutely not. Like,
are you going to tell the president? You going to tell the president no?
Yes.
Somebody didn't. Somebody didn't tell Mike Pence no. Somebody didn't tell
Joe Biden
when he was vice president no.
Mike Pence was vice president.
If you're like that powerful, let me just take them home. I could just see I could just see Joe Biden driving his Corvette with the documents in the seat, and he's like, I got to take my Corvette back and park it, and he's backing the Corvette in, and he looks down, he's like, oh yeah, those things, and he throws them over his shoulder onto the back thing.
They weren't secured.
Like, whatever.
And then so now you have the dumbass, the Republicans trying to make the argument, the Democrats trying to make all you guys are frauds. You've all been caught. Like, I just say they all have to pay the piper. That's what I say. Fuck them all.
I think
fuck them all.
I think the rules apply to everyone, but they don't. But I think
they have to now because it's happened on both sides. Now you got 3 people.
Well, you know what they'll do then? Then all will be forgiven.
I don't know.
It's like, oh, since everybody has them, then we'll just call it a mulligan. We'll take a mulligan and
Dude, I
wait
thought-
for the next 24-hour cycle of news.
I really thought you were fixing to hit me with something crazy, and I don't know if that sounds that crazy.
It doesn't
I mean,
sound crazy.
it does, because it's absurd to think like, yeah, we would.
What sounds crazy is that they would actually do something about it.
What
That sounds crazy.
It sounds crazy
Isn't
that they
that
would
funny?
that they would have the documents. That's crazy. That's what we miss in all. That's what we miss in all this as a people and as news cycles and as news stories. What we're really missing is not like, well, he did it and he did. The fucking story is that these dudes had classified documents in a golf resort, a garage, and an apartment. Like, this is not some shit that should ever be going down. Like, where are we living?
It wasn't in their like safe room at
We-
their mansion.
We are living in what is it?
in a
Idiocracy? Is that
garage.
what was that?
It's Idiocracy.
Yeah.
It's Mike Judge. It's a really great movie, and if you haven't seen it, you need
Yeah,
to watch
this-
it because it's really, really funny, and it's kind of came true.
It's like you look at the Santos story, you look at the classified doc story. Who knows what's going on with Ukraine and Russia? Now we're sending them 31 Abram tanks. Is that the right thing to do? Is it the wrong thing to do? I don't even know anymore. I don't even know what truth is. I don't even know what's real. I don't even know who's real. I don't even know if these are lizard people. I don't know
have no
what the
idea
fuck
what's
is going on, where the fuck we live. Like, what is this? This is it's like we're like Martians.
Do you remember like when you were a kid and you were like, God, I hate the news, and you didn't want to watch the news? As a
Yes,
kid,
I hate it so
but
much.
like whatever they said on the news, you're like, oh, okay. But and it's like now it's like they report the news and you're like, okay, I got to find out if this is actually real or not.
Yeah,
Is this true?
that ship sailed about
No.
15, 20 years
15
ago.
years
It
ago?
had probably sailed in about the 60s or 70s.
Really?
I think, and I just don't think
I
we were.
think it did because
I think
have you
we
ever
weren't
seen the Rowdy Roddy Piper movie. They Among Us.
Mm-mm.
He puts on. I think I've talked about it before. He puts on these glasses and he can see like these people that like you look at like a. He puts on these sunglasses. It's Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Yeah, I
And
love Rowdy
He
Roddy
puts
Piper.
all these sunglasses and he looks at a billboard, and the billboard, instead of it being like a toothpaste billboard, it says like obey. And then he like looks down the street and like people in business suits and politicians on TV look like monsters. And then he takes them off and they look like people, and he puts them back on and they're like monsters.
I swear every story I hear the past 3 years, probably 3 years, I'm like, this cannot be reality. There's no way this is based reality.
I think this is actually what they said on Saturday Night Live when they said that Joe Biden like comes through like a portal to it's like fun Joe Biden comes through a portal, and then like old Joe Biden standing there trying to give a speech, and he's like, oh, we made up this reality for real reality to make fun of. This is fake reality that we make fun of all the time.
Yeah, that we're
It's
always
like a television show.
We're always watching you guys to see if you like.
This is for fun.
Because now, like, you can't be on either side and try to defend your position on classified Well, Trump declassified them with his mind. Well, Biden's was different because he only had 12 documents. Hey, Pitts took his to an apartment where they were very, very safe in the closet.
He had a deadbolt. He had 2 deadbolts. No, look. Obviously, they should just whatever the rule is, whatever the law
Whatever
says,
would happen to me.
they should whatever would happen to you if you had them.
Yes.
Should happen to them. 100%. But it's not going to. Doesn't matter.
You don't think?
I don't think they're going to do shit. Maybe a fine.
But
And then the fine is nothing. The fine
Well,
will
look.
do nothing. A fine?
Just get China or Russia to pay
Do
that
you
for
think
one.
Mike Pence? This would be a good thing. You get Mike Pence, and you get Donald Trump, and our president Joe Biden to do 50 hours of community service where they pick up trash on the side of the road, and we televise it. I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
take
never
it.
happening.
I'll take it. Pay-per-view it.
It'd
and
be-
pay their pay-per-view it and pay their fines. I'll watch them pick up trash on the road talking, hey, he's like getting stuff, and he's like, you're missing stuff. I am the best at picking up trash. I'm the best.
I probably know more about picking up trash than anyone in history, except maybe Abraham Lincoln. There's an argument for Abraham Lincoln. I don't know, but it's probably me. I won't say I'm the best, but I'm the best.
I'm the best at it, and it'd be so funny, and you'd have like flies landing on Mike Pence's hair when he's picking up trash because apparently, remember the fly.
Here's what I think, and I told you this in the intro. I think, and I hope maybe this is it. I think they're trying to formulate a way to get the old guard out, get these old old white men out of the picture and start over with like some 45 to 55-year-old dudes with common sense, kind of some that can reach across the aisle, that want to reach across the aisle, that want to talk. I hope they're just trying to get Biden and Trump out of there, because let's be honest, if we're gonna be honest, is this the best we can do in America? Trump and Biden? That's the best we can do? I don't believe that. Maybe I'm too optimistic. Maybe I'm too glasses half full guy. I don't believe in.
You know what you are?
What?
I think that the big picture is it doesn't matter who's in there. It's all decided already.
Correct, but wouldn't you still rather have somebody like 51 years old with a good head on his shoulders trying to do right,
yeah.
trying to navigate the ship for us?
Well, you know what we do with those people? We shoot those people.
Unalive them.
We unalive those people.
Yeah, the reason, and when you're talking about the media, when I said, it's probably back to the 60s or 70s, let's think about this. When JFK was shot, and we now pretty much know to be a CIA hit job, right? Mm-hmm. How many news organizations went after the real story?
Goose egg.
When MLK was assassinated, and that looks to be a hit job by the CIA and the FBI, how many news organizations went after the real story, tried to get to the bottom of it?
None.
Zero. And you could,
but
and you
know
could go
why?
story
You know
after
why?
story after story.
Malcolm X, all of them. You know why? Because they know who did it.
When Reagan was selling us,
they know who did all that.
I know.
They weren't going to go after those people. Those people sign their paychecks.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like a phenomenon of 2023 or 2015. Like, this is not
been going on forever.
It's been going on for a long.
There's nothing we can do about it either, except
podcast about it.
We'll podcast about it and get suicided. I'm just gonna say right now, I would never kill myself. I'm awesome. My life is awesome.
No matter how bleak it gets, I'm not gonna say all that, but I would never kill myself. If I kill myself, y'all look at Mike. I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Look for answers, because I did not kill myself.
I will look for answers. Yes. I have a particular set of skills. I have a particular drinking is one of them. Yeah. Maybe it's the main one. No, but no, yeah, I would never. This is me saying I would never kill myself. My life is too kick-ass. I have a great time at life. Life's great.
It's fun. So
even people say, they're like, "Oh, his life's great." I just make my life great.
It is what you make it.
And I don't do anything. I don't go anywhere. I don't go on extravagant vacations.
Just enjoy myself, my company.
Enjoy my own company.
Yeah,
I'm good at it.
Yeah, me too.
I play guitar. I sit around and I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good song. Delete. And then, I just go on with my deal.
I can spend days by myself.
Oh, man, I love
days.
it. No, when I drove truck for 15 years, and, like, being by myself driving a truck is the most wonderful thing. It was the most wonderful thing ever. Yeah. Driving a truck, going to places, you pull in. I would go to the same places, like the same 20 places all the time. So after 15 years, you get to know the people that work there. You're just like, oh, hey, what's up, Jeff? What's up, so-and-so? And it just becomes like, oh, hey, and you have a little talk. And
it's your life.
Then you get back in your truck by yourself, and you listen to the music you want to listen to, and you smoke your cigarettes, and you dip, and you drive around in your truck. It's so much fun. Yeah. I loved it.
But you drive for, what, 8-10 hours a day?
11 hours a day.
You could drive
the legal amount.
So you could drive over 11 sometimes.
No, 11.
11.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it.
But back then it was just back then with paper logs in the 90s.
Back then with paper logs, I would.
If you had to go 12 and a half, you could just be like, eh.
Dude, I used to drive like 20 hours straight.
Yeah.
With paper logs and use like 2 different log books and have one that I was off the day before, so I could continue to drive. And if like I had to show anybody my log books, I'd give them the fake one.
Statute of limitations on that's good, right? I'm sure you're.
It doesn't matter. I don't. But like
you just say I was lying for the podcast.
I'm just. This is just entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
So like now though, you have electronic logbooking devices which link up to satellites and timing and all this stuff, and you've got to take breaks. You can only drive this amount. You can only just That's
probably a good idea. I'm usually for less government, but in that case, I'm probably for more government.
Let me tell you this: driving for 15 years, doing what I did, and driving the specialty stuff we drove, I was always tired. For 15 years, I was always tired. It always had to be there. It always had to get done. You always had to cheat. Now with these ELDs, it would be so great to drive now. I haven't driven on ELDs because I stopped.
ELD, tell everybody what that is.
It's an electronic logbook
Log
device.
okay.
And so, like,
what I
when you
thought.
get in the truck, you hit a button, and if you start driving, it turns on and says you're driving. And then it starts a countdown to how long you can drive and do everything you do.
In a 24-hour period.
And yeah, all the time. So, like, and after a certain amount of time, you got to take a 30-minute break, which you were supposed to do before anyway. Like, half of the learning experience of driving with paper logs was learning how to cheat the paper log. You can't cheat this thing. You can't cheat it.
Someone will think
So
the way.
here's the no, you can't cheat
can't cheat it?
You can't cheat it. Here's the other thing about it. Being on the dispatching side of all of this, it makes it so much easier knowing how long you can drive and where you're going to end up on the planning part of it.
You know, because
Now you can plan and call all your customers and
say
tell
he'll
them
be there in
when
3 days.
he'll be there now, he'll be there here, he'll be there here, because you have to abide by these rules.
Yeah.
Before that, it was like, why isn't he here yet? Well, it's like, well, the motherfucker's been up for 24 hours and he's trying to get there, but like he's got three logbooks.
And back then, nobody
going.
cared. They're just like, get my shit.
Get my shit here.
Yeah.
Now, I had to go through the whole thing of calling all of our customers and be like, look, there's this new thing called electronic logbook device, and I just can't bring you your stuff. I can't drive from West Monroe, Louisiana, all the way to Fernandina Beach, Florida in a day now.
Yeah.
It's going to take a day and a couple of hours.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore.
Because we have to take a break in that 24-hour gap and eight
It's
hours of
long,
sleep, rest,
it's
whatever.
longer than 11 hours to get there. So we're going to have to stop, and we're going to have to take a break.
And
I
you
can't bring it
plus they're
straight to
speed
you.
regulated now too, right? Where they stop at like 65.
Oh, well, they know everything. They know everything you do. They know how fast you're going. They know if you're speeding. They know everything. So it's all regulated. I'm for it. I wasn't for it
I'm
before.
for it. I'm for it.
I'm totally for it because one of the reasons why it got pushed through was because truck drivers were driving tired and falling asleep and smashing into
Killing
people
people.
and killing people.
Yeah.
And
I'd be pissed if I got killed.
when it really became an issue was because somebody in government's daughter died because of it, and then they pushed it through.
Then they said, figure this out.
Yep. And then they figured it out. But it took somebody of importance to do it. And it was a big deal. People were really pissed about the ELD thing. And I'll tell you what's next. The next thing, and it's probably in our lifetime, but later, is when
We're
gonna have
already in later in our lifetime.
Self-drive. Don't tell me that.
I'm sorry. I'm
tell
sorry. Sorry to be the bearer of
Would
bad
you
news.
not tell me stuff like that? I know. I feel like I'm 22 years old and I'm 43.
Yeah,
I'm hanging out with people and we're all
you're
like,
born in the
they're like
70s. Kids can't even envision what the
79.
70s. They can't even, or the 80s.
Almost the 80s, bro. So like I'm hanging out, with some like 24-year-olds and drinking, and like some dude that's 48 walks in and you're like, that old motherfucker. It's like, well, you're 43.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I'm old.
you're the same age.
I'm the same age as that guy. But anyway, no, what I'm saying is like, it's better now with those regulations are better. That is
100%.
made because you're on the road and you're driving. There's people on the road driving. You
That's-
gotta have it safe.
That's where so I used to kind of be like just a staunch libertarian, and that's where I kind of get off of. You can't have no government in a functioning system. You have to have some, like, that's an example. I'm for less government, as little as you can have. That's a good example of like,
Okay.
the legislation
Yeah.
on that makes sense.
Pretty good. There's a NoFX song where they say swimming alone at sea is not exactly what you want.
Yeah,
You don't want to do that.
exactly.
You need something. You can't. You don't want to swim alone at sea.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they say about the government. Is you got to have a little bit of government.
You need them to build roads. You need them to write legislation and good laws, good common sense laws. Like, hey, maybe drivers don't need to be driving 32 hours and killing citizens.
Yeah, we need something to regulate how they're manipulating the system with paper laws.
Where they can't manipulate it, right? Hey, this is what you're supposed to do anyway. This was the law anyway. We're just making that law foolproof.
Oh, well, here's the messed up thing
I'm for
about
that.
it. The thing where I don't remember, like, the senator or whoever's daughter it was that was killed with 3 other girls that were going home from their spring break from college or whatever. They got killed while the truck driver smashed into him. But he had been up for like 28 hours, and they pulled his phone, and he was looking at porn going down the road on his phone at the time that he was up for 28 hours straight and smashed into him, and I'm pretty sure he probably had methamphetamines in him.
I'm sure he had methamphetamine.
Methamphetamine, looking at porn, up 28 hours, smash into somebody. I mean, it's like
that's not a good thing.
That's a red flag.
That's not good for society.
It's not good at all.
So hey, tell me about these 25-year-old Beanie Babies and what some of them are. This is pretty fascinating. to
Okay,
me.
so
and the value of them, I kind of want to know.
Okay, so I was looking up online. I went on eBay and I was looking, and I saw where like Beanie Babies. These are 1997 Beanie Babies, right? Oh, you can't
still
really
with
see
tags
it's
on them.
green. This one's green, so the green screen's like totally screwing it up. But
We'll hold the duck up, maybe.
Yeah, so like all of these are, well, the duck does kind of the same thing. These are all pristine that I got in 1997
When you worked for a
when I worked
vending
for a
company.
vending company. I don't want to say their name, but like these are all Beanie Babies, and they all have the errors on them and stuff. Like this one, it says is worth like it says these are all worth like thousands of dollars. So like I go on eBay and I was like, well, maybe I should sell them on eBay, but like some of them say like $10 to buy, some of them say $2,500 to buy.
But didn't you say this one has like a
this one
has a
said
miss
this one said like $25,000
because it's got a 97 on one and 96 on the other, 97, 98.
that one
That was
is
the duck.
The duck has the error on the duck is this says 97 and on the butt tag it says 98, so that's like an error that makes that.
So how much is that one worth?
Super expensive. It's at like $5,000 or something
And this
like
one's
that.
20. This one's 25,000.
That is crazy. That is crazy. I saw this somebody
And
from,
don't you?
like,
And
some
he has
other
folks.
country-
He has a hold of the bag full. He has a bag full of these
I
things.
have a bag full of these. Like, and I've had them in a bag
For
since
26 years.
1997. They are perfect. They're pristine. They're full of the PVC like stuff that they filled them with that they stopped filling them with or whatever. But like
Asbestos, probably.
whatever it is. But like they're worth. It says all that they're worth all these things, and I just don't believe
Dude,
it.
what if you
I
could
don't
get
believe
30
it.
grand for these 4 Beanie Babies you got?
Hey, if anybody out there collects Beanie Babies,
Let us know. We don't.
If like anybody that collects Beanie Babies out there, if these are actually worth something, these are the, I think 5th gen, 1997 with the error. Like there's errors on. There's like errors on the thing where it has, like they talk about the exclamation point is over a notch, which makes it an error. And then this one actually has the wrong date on the butt tag of 98, and this one says 97. I think some of them are like that, but like
I hope your hands are clean while you're touching this.
my hands are very clean.
Mine too. I touched it
But
once and I was like, oh, I hope. Yeah.
they're pristine. Like I went online and I saw this and I was like, I've got like 40 of these things. I've got all of these. I got multiples of these. And if I could sell them if somebody wants
let's
them,
sell them and
I'll
use
sell them.
Sell them and use a 10% of the money to promote the podcast.
Hell yeah.
We'll hire a publicist.
But like this one I think is the most. This one right here. This is his name is Gobbles.
Mr. Gobbles.
I worked for a company that if you've ever in the 90s were in a Walmart and you were
A crane
using
machine.
the
Everyone
crane
knows the crane
machine.
machines, yeah.
I worked for that company.
Y'all had a bunch of crane machines or other vending stuff too? Just crane machines?
It was crane machines and all like the little deals. They had all like the different. There were a bunch of different like games and stuff that they had. And the funny thing about it was like growing up, I always was like, "Hey, Dad, give me $1. I want to play this or get a bouncy." And Dad was like, "Nobody puts money in those. Nobody does that." And I was like, "Okay, nobody does that."
But then you found out when you were working there that everyone does that, right?
Everyone.
Yeah.
I'm like,
My dad can't walk by one. He could
Dude.
never walk by one without putting money in it.
Dude, I'm working for this. The first year they gave I had my own car. I'm 19 years old, by the way. I had my own car that
Company
they
car,
gave me,
yeah.
company car. I made enough money to get my own apartment on Cross Lake in Shreveport. At 19 years old,
Yeah.
I had like a ton of vending machines in Texas and Shreveport that I vended and cleaned and put these things in, and I made a lot of money. And I was 19. I was.
How
on
would
my
they
way.
know how much money you got out and that you back then and that
Okay,
you did you
so
deposit all the money?
You would go into Walmart and you'd get the CSM or whoever, and they would the manager, and they would come watch you take the money out.
Okay, you had to get them before you could
You
do
had
it.
to get them before you can do it.
So you could both testify to it.
Testify to it. So you have 2 eyes on it. You get the money out. Well, first of all, I was blown away because my dad my whole life told me nobody put any money into these things. I'm pulling like $800 worth every 3 days out of these machines.
Out of one machine.
Out of one machine.
Yeah.
I'm just like dollar bills and quarters. I had like a quarter counter. So like we would get all the money out of all of them. We would go in the back, and Walmart got like 25% or like 30%. So like I would go in the back, and in front of someone, I used a quarter counter and like spun this thing that shot quarters into a bag. I can't believe I'm like 19 years old and I got like a big boy job.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a big boy job.
Yeah.
And like I'm counting all this money. I'm riding around in a Ford Escort with like 12 grand worth of quarters and dollar bills on me.
Yeah, but no one knows that. So
And nobody knew because it's like just a white Ford
just a white,
Escort.
inconspicuous car. Yeah.
So like, but anybody could have like saw me doing that and then like waited and then like
Because you had no
hijacked me.
security or anything.
I
obviously.
I didn't have a gun. And here's me at 19, just driving around with this money, not even thinking about like, is anybody following me? Like now, I would be super paranoid. I'd have like guns on me. I would be like riding around looking like in the rearview mirror. Seeing
Totally thinking you're being staked
just
out. Yeah.
Like I've seen this Dodge truck twice. I've been to Carthage, Texas, and I've been over here to Tyler, and this motherfucker's following me. You know,
So the Beanie Babies were a consolation prize for working. They were a Christmas bonus.
Well, you were supposed to put like 2, like in those claw machines, they had like you'd put 2 like
limited edition
points of worth into it. So like Sugarloaf made shitty like toys. Then you would get like Thai Beanie Babies and put 2 in there. Well, I just started keeping like 1.
Yeah, here and there, keep one. Yeah,
keep 1 here and there. I worked for him for a long time, so I ended up with like this huge bag of them.
Did you? Any idea they were ever going to be valuable, or you?
I had no idea.
And you just had you put it. I guess you got married a few years later, put the bag up, and forgot about it for life.
The funny thing is like I kept the Beanie Babies because somebody at the apartment, some girl that lived there, liked them, and she said she collected them. So I was like, pull those out. Maybe I don't know. I maybe started keeping them because I like wanted to get some poontang.
You putting the world on free game here.
Yeah.
It's not about being funny. It's not about being a protector. It's not about being a provider. It's about providing Beanie Babies. That's what the women want.
That's what they wanted. That's what that chick wanted. Anyway, I never. By the way, I never banged her.
You didn't?
No, I didn't. She was too sporty spice for me.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Side note, funny story on the side. I was with my girlfriend in Shreveport, and we were going in to see Better Than Ezra at the Strand or whatever.
I bet that was good. I bet it was so good.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was so good.
It was awesome. But I'm standing there, and that girl walked up to me and my girlfriend and was like, "Hey, Mike, blah, blah, blah." Started talking to me, and I was like, I don't know. Like, yeah, she's my neighbor.
Well, it's just a neighbor that you were showing some Beanie Babies to, and you never did anything.
Beanie
so
Baby.
you should have been.
I was Beanie Baby in her.
You were thinking about Beanie Baby,
about
but you
it.
never did. So it's not like you didn't.
I never did.
So it just made you feel uncomfortable. The girls were probably
It
fine
was
because there was
super
no.
uncomfortable, and my girlfriend at the time was like, who became my wife later, was like, who the fuck was that? I was like, that's just some girl that likes Beanie Babies.
You didn't tell her that because then that would let her know that you knew too much about her.
No, I think
you
I
just
did.
said that's your neighbor.
No, I think I did.
You
I was like,
she likes my Beanie Babies.
she likes my Beanie Babies. I got some stupid stories.
Who did Better Than Ezra play? I saw Better Than Ezra in a bar.
Here's a
in
funny
the
thing
90s.
about Better Than Ezra. They're from here.
Yeah, they're
right?
from Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge. So like,
I think I saw them in Sundown. Believe it or not.
I
Sundown.
always like a band that like, there's like the 3 guys in the band, and then there's like the guy off to the side that nobody knows the guy's name, and he's got like this is like me in a band.
You're just describing every bass player. Is that what you're doing? Describing bass players?
No. Bass player, singer, playing guitar, drummer, and then there's like a guy off to the side that's got like a piano set up.
Yeah.
He's got a guitar rig set up. He's got like all this stuff.
Sometimes he's not even on the stage.
Sometimes he's not even on. Sometimes he's behind the curtain.
Jeff,
that's the guy they hire to be the badass, and he gets no clout. He
Jeff-
gets nothing.
Jeff Nichols and Wakeman both did that for Sabbath for probably 20 years. Like played whole sets.
That is totally what I would do.
No one in the
would
world,
love it.
no one in the world knew those people existed. I mean,
Right.
they knew who Rick Wakeman was. But
Well, it's like the keyboard player for
He's just
Smashing
behind the
Pumpkins
curtain
when he died. The keyboard player died. It was like, oh, they had a keyboard
player? Yeah.
These motherfuckers behind a curtain, like Oz, like the Great Oz, playing keyboard and extra guitar and extra bass parts, and you're like, this band's amazing. And there's like another guy behind stage. That guy died doing heroin with the drummer. With the drummer.
because he's an integral part of the band. But for some reason, they have
they hire them.
like Sabbath has like these are our 4 guys, but they had Jeff Nichols. I'm telling you for 10 years, 12, and Rick Wakeman.
Well, it's like this.
Forever.
You hire somebody. It's Nirvana did it with Pat Smear. Only they let him be
He was on
part
stage,
of the band.
they
He was
let-
on stage.
So they didn't do it,
He didn't have to be.
and he wasn't a
He didn't have.
he
to
wasn't
be
a
on stage.
synthesizer guy either, or a keyboardist.
No, but he probably could be because I've seen that dude play.
Oh, Pat
everything.
Smear's great.
Oh man, Pat Smear's a genius.
The guys
I
behind
really-
the curtain are usually
They're
geniuses.
the geniuses.
Yeah.
They're the guys you hire when you're tired, and you're like, I just want to play the 3 chords that I wrote the song with.
You
and
add a
let
little,
the
add a little.
guy adds the thing in the back, and we're gonna pay him X amount.
You think
every
it's
show.
you think it's because they're tired? I don't think like bands like I don't think the Smashing Pumpkins and Sabbath. These
No,
guys are
not-
better
not
than
that
Ezra. I don't think they're tired. I think
not
they were
that they're
just they just
tired.
want to give a great show. I just think they want to give a full, rich sound.
I think they just want that.
Well, why not let the guy on stage? Why not let the
Because
guy?
you're paying him, and he doesn't deserve to be famous.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm 100% on that. I'm
that.
telling
You're
you.
right on that part. I don't think it was them being. I want to be lazy and do. I think it's I want a full, rich sound.
I think
but
there's a lazy part in that.
But
But I
I'll-
do think there's a lazy part in it.
Do you?
You know why I think it's lazy? It's because of that. It's because I'm the rock star and I want to do what I do, and you do the hard part.
yeah.
It is lazy.
I want to be cool. You do the hard part, but no one's going to see you or even know you exist.
You know you exist. We're not even going to say your name.
Writing-
You didn't write these songs.
Writing
Like
credits.
You're not going to get shit.
You're getting you can get your $750 a day or whatever you're getting.
It's
You're
probably
get-
more than that, depending on what band.
You're going to get your day rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's as much as you think it is. I mean, because that's a lot of money for most people, and it's a little bit of money for most rock
How
stars.
much do you think Better Than Ezra in 1999 paid the guy to play piano and guitar and set up all the cues?
In 1999, is that when it was?
Yeah.
$75.
Oh shit.
What do you think they paid him?
God, I wouldn't even know.
I know that like
The band barely gets paid in. I saw this thing earlier about how bands now, if you're not like a superstar band from the past 30 years and
A legacy
selling out
act.
a legacy act, these bands that are playing make dick
Yeah.
because of the way you buy tickets. Like half of that's gone. Boom, done.
well, like it.
Half of that's gone. Like if you buy a ticket for 80, the band gets 40, then half that into the production.
The band
and
gets
then
about 12.
The band gets about $12.
The band gets about 12.
And there's like 4 or 5 guys in a band. Holy shit! Fuck it.
I can tell you.
sucks.
I can tell you from booking a band that and talking to and I've talked to venues all over the country. They in 2023 they still treat it like a huge favor if they're like it's a big if they're giving you $500 or $600.
Really?
Yeah, they're like. I mean, they're like, yeah, we'd really. Yeah, they're like, we'll go for $450 for y'all. You're like 400, but
Well, when I was in
that's kind of seems like it was a good amount in '95.
Well, when in '99, 2000, when I was in 1000 Watt Bitch, and we played in Shreveport, our hometown, there would be people lined out. They would be at capacity and lined out, and they would run out of beer, and we made thousands and thousands of dollars.
Well, you were getting a door deal. That's why if you can draw like that, door deals are the way to go. Because door deals you usually get 80-20 split. You can get 80% for the band, 20% for, and if you know you can sell 200 tickets at $10, then that's $1,600.
Well, we would just and then we realized that people would just come to watch us fuck off, so we just started playing. We just started practicing at a bar,
Like rehearsing instead of doing a show.
rehearsing at a small bar, and charging to get in, and people came and watched us rehearse.
Yeah,
And then we like
that's when
there-
people
there
really
was-
into live music.
there was like
Well, that's when people would support the scene.
The guy that owned the bar years later, I showed up at his bar, and he was like, "Oh shit." He's like, "You paid for this bar." He's like, "Let me tell you, I've got this bar and I've got a restaurant in town, and if you ever want to come here or eat," he said, "it's on me." He said, "Have the bartender call me and tell."
Which you would never do, probably.
Which I would never. I never did it once.
Never use your celebrity from
Never,
25
never
years
did it
ago.
once. 25 years ago, it feels stupid. And he
And,
was like,
your local,
but he said-
your regional celebrity from
but he
25 years ago
But he said
to get free
he said-
tacos.
Yeah, right. He said, "If you're ever here in town," he said, call me. Have them call me and tell me that you're here, and it's all comped." He said, "You paid for this bar." He said, "When you all practiced here and we charged money."
Did
to
y'all
get
practice
in,
like a couple times a week there or something?
Yeah, like 2 times a week. We would.
How long did y'all do that?
A year.
Oh, for a year.
We paid his, but he said, "You paid our bar off." He said, because of you and all of the, it was Michael Mann's, by the way,
Yeah.
in Shreveport. He said, you paid our bar off. We paid it off cash. We just paid it off because all the alcohol sales and people. We would practice at his bar and say, "Hey, we're having a practice show," and we would just make stuff up, and I would just like drop C, da 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 da, and Sean would sing, and people would show up and be like, we'd be like, "We just made that up," and people were like, "Fuck you, you did not just make that up," and it was like, "Yeah, we did," and it wasn't that great, but
Yeah.
I mean, in the moment,
In the
it's pretty
in the
good.
moment, it's cool. People drinking, it's cool.
But yeah, see, he was like, "You pay for our bar, you can just drink, you can eat and drink free, whatever you want at both of our places."
Did he?
But
I guess
never-
he comped you that day, though, right? Did he
Oh
comp-
yeah, totally. He
he-
totally comped me that day.
Well,
But
that's-
it was pretty cool. It was
So-
pretty cool.
That's cool. Y'all were getting 100 people show up for practices.
We were getting 700 people.
For practice.
Yes, they were. 700 people were. You could only fit 100 in the place, and people were outside listening to us
On like
That's
a
how-
Tuesday.
on like a Tuesday, like for real. Yeah, I'm not lying.
Oh, I know you weren't. I remember
You've
the
heard
deal.
it. You've heard Sean. You've heard all that. It was insane.
Well, I remember. I mean, I remember when y'all were doing the deal, but I just didn't know y'all were charged for practice. I wasn't living in Shreveport, but I remember y'all doing the band and having.
Yeah, we would
good
do
success.
practices. We started like playing and charging practices. We were making money to practice.
$5 cover. People paying a cover.
$5 cover.
Well, they thought it was a show though. Y'all were doing a little. Y'all were entertaining some.
We're
Y'all were hamming it up and
dude. We hammed it up. We played our songs. We would practice songs. We would play something over and over again. The weird thing was, the more we played,
This is
it
pre-record deal, right?
This is
pre-Warner Brothers?
right before Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
So right before that. So like we're playing like a song over and over again, figuring something out, and people loved it. They loved hearing us do our process, and people paid to come and drink and watch us do our process of writing. It was awesome.
I don't know if you could. I don't know if any band could get that nowadays. People just have too much stuff taking their attention.
Yeah,
And
it's too much.
I couldn't imagine.
This was '99.
I know that was the peak of like live music
It was
and
the
like
and
peak of
new
see,
metal.
new metal just
And
just
people
starting.
were just like really into like being like, yeah, metal. You know, it was like people were it because you got to remember, like, people then. This is the way I feel about it. You were into like metal, which
way before new metal,
which wasn't new metal.
right? Way before new metal.
New metal kind of.
And then I was into new metal a little bit, but I was like, it's not as good as.
people. It wasn't.
It's not as good as my
It
metal.
wasn't as good as metal.
Yeah.
But like people that didn't know what real metal was, that listen to like pop music and like Def Leppard or whatever, which Def Leppard's great, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They heard new metal and it was like, oh my god, this is amazing.
But we weren't
'Cause they
calling it
never
new
listened.
metal in '99
Yeah,
yet.
we were.
We?
Oh yeah, we
were
were.
we calling it new
Oh,
metal
yeah.
then?
Oh yeah.
I can't remember. I couldn't remember when
yeah.
that starts. Probably.
New metal started in '99, 2000,
I
2001.
remember. Yeah, I remember about 01, 02
New
it
metal.
being called that.
No, I remember new
Probably-
metal in that.
Yeah, I'm probably wrong on that. It's probably because it was probably '99. Because it was just merging in '96, '97, '98 with really Korn started that whole
Korn
deal.
started with and Limp Bizkit.
With Korn first. Korn first.
Found Limp Bizkit.
I say Korn. If I'm drawing the tree, and I'm a pretty damn good music historian. I know more than
You're probably better than me because I've always had my head in the clouds with everything. And
you
just doing what I
you have the advent of metal on February 13th, 1970 with Black Sabbath self-titled. That's pretty much inarguable facts. Then you have the new wave of British heavy metal in 1980 with Iron Maiden, Tigers of Pantang, Def Leppard, On Through the Night, etc., etc. Then you have the thrash metal scene with your big four. Metallica, Anthrax, Slayer. And then following that, the next thing to pop up. So that's what thrash is hitting the scene 83, 84. Then Pantera hits, makes it new again in 90 with groove metal. And then
metal.
you have Crowbar and Pantera.
Helmet.
And then
Helmet?
Helmet, I'd say probably took some of that. And then 96, you have Korn. And Korn is the Godfather. Korn of the Godfathers of new metal. They are the bands I named for thrash, the band I named for metal, New Wave British Heavy. These are the guys. Korn were the guys.
Had you ever even heard of a 7-string guitar before Korn? No. Something completely different.
And the sound was.
Oh, and our intro is an 8-string guitar. We're just gonna add strings.
Yeah.
And in like 10 years, there'll be like a 20-string guitar, like boom.
I think
it's a joke.
I know. I think
it's a joke.
I think the next evolution is like you see like bands like Greta Van Fleet and Highly Suspect getting pretty big traction.
Highly Suspect.
Yeah, and I think the next trend is the throwback to like 70s hard rock metal, just rock and roll.
That's where Morning Moon slides in.
That's where they'll slide in. There's a bunch of bands out there like them. Black Parrot. There's just a bunch of like good. I say a bunch, 15 or 20 that I think are good hard rock, alternative rock type bands. And they don't really fall into a metal genre or subgenre. It's more throwback. It's new but old, if that makes sense. That's like what I'm finding the most appealing to my ears.
What was the band you said? Highly Suspect.
Highly Suspect,
Man,
Black Parrot.
They're so great.
They're great.
They write like the best '90s sounding,
and
it's
I mean,
badass.
And Muse, Muse is 20 years old.
Head over, like slide over. We
got there.
I got some technical difficulties.
But I think rock is never dead. They've been saying rock is dead since since the 60s. Since the 60s.
Rock's dead since the 60s? No way.
Absolutely.
80s, bro.
No man. When Elvis got inducted to the Army, and so you had rock, you had Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley. Let me catch you up.
You hit me on the rock. Like, what do you call rock?
Let me catch you up. I'm about to. So you had Elvis Presley, like Jerry Lee Lewis, Buddy Holly, all these type of rock and roll artists.
All these guys that like 14-year-olds. Keep going.
They're doing rockabilly, right? They're doing rockabilly. Elvis has to go to the military. Elvis gets drafted by the Army, right? What kind of music do we get? You don't remember?
I wasn't born.
I know I wasn't either, but you don't know?
I only like Limp Bizkit.
Okay.
Limp Bizkit. I only like Limp Bizkit. I only listen to Limp Bizkit. They're my favorite band. That's it. I only like them.
You'll know when I tell you. It'll make sense.
Elvis who? They copied off of Limp Bizkit.
So after Elvis goes to the Army, the music becomes this syrupy shit like Pat Boone and the crooners and the rock was dead. Where was the rock in 61, 62, 63? The next rock you remember is what?
80s.
The 70s. Beatles.
70s.
The Beatles. Come on, I thought you'd follow me into this.
The Beatles is rock?
Oh my God, yeah. The Beatles are rock and roll. The Beatles
are the Beatles.
The Beatles are the Beatles, but they're a rock band.
Can you put them in a category?
Yeah, they're rock and roll. They're rock.
I don't think so.
They're pop and then they're rock.
They were pop.
They're pop and then they're rock.
They were psychedelic.
Psychedelic.
Rock.
Thank you. You make it hard on a man sometimes.
I'm trying to create sound bites, goddammit, for TikTok. Did you know what I'm doing over here? Yes. There is a reason why I sit here and I do these outlandish things. It's because I want to get 200,000 hits on TikTok.
I want to too.
All right, so let me do my thing and you do your thing.
All right.
God damn it.
So Rock is dead in 61. 60, 61, that's when they first say rock is dead. Elvis is gone. Then the Beatles hit the scene. The Beatles and all these other bands like the Byrds, the Yardbirds.
The Beatles are my favorite band of all time.
They're the greatest band of all time, probably.
They're my favorite band of all time.
They're my top 5. They're my
number 1. I'll tell you, they're my number 1.
They're my number. They're top
Limp
5
Bizkit's
for sure.
number 2. That's not true, but I do love a good.
I know you enjoy a good party band.
A good goofy party band.
Yeah.
And Wes Borland is a
amazing,
really talented. Like he's there with like Tom Morello coming up with stuff on the guitar that doesn't sound like guitar. That's why I like Limp Bizkit so much.
So Rock dies in 61. Okay, its first death according to the media, according to people. Then Rock dies again with what? 4 things happened. You know what those 4 events are?
No, you're telling this story.
I know you do. I know. I think you will know. What you don't know, but when I tell you, you'll know. Right? The Beatles break up. What else happens when the Beatles break up during about a 9-month period? You remember?
No.
Jim. You remember Jimi Hendrix?
Who's Jimi Hendrix?
He died.
Yeah, right. I know.
Do you remember Jim Morrison?
He was in that movie called The Doors.
He died. Do you remember Janis Joplin?
She was. Yeah.
She died. So the Beatles break up in 69. Jim Morrison dies. Jimi Hendrix dies. Janis Joplin dies. Guess what? Rock is dead again. Now we have the 7th. Now that's only about a 10-month period because you get Zeppelin, Sabbath, Purple, right there. Rock revitalizes again, 70 to 76. What happens in 76? Disco, disco duck. I got to be a disco duck. Disco hits the scene.
God, you're so loud in that microphone.
Disco hits the scene. 76. Rock is dead again. Disco 76. Disco 77. Disco 78. And now 77, 78.
Okay, let me ask you
New
this.
wave punk.
Well, let me ask you this: for those time periods, what was the metal bands playing? In
There were none. They were dead. Rock was dead. That's what it.
No, there had to be metal bands. There was.
Oh,
It wasn't
oh.
just all disco.
Everything big. They were saying. I'm saying while they were saying rock is just like there's rock bands now, but there's more. There's more Doja Cat, right? There still are rock bands, but that's not
Right.
what's in the mainstream.
Well, of course, there's always that.
Well, yeah. So yeah, 76, 77. So you still had those. You had.
Well, wasn't like
You still had
well-
Deep Purple, Black
well, let
Sabbath,
me
Led
ask-
Zeppelin,
Black
but they're old. But they're
Sabbath-
old.
Black Sabbath were playing.
But they're calling them old. They're 30 years old now. They're calling them old men.
Ugh.
Those are all old men. That's what you follow me. You follow them how it's
I'm
working.
I'm following.
These are the old
Your
men.
hands are you cutting up my scene.
These I thought we could move on here. I didn't know I couldn't.
It's a tiny room. It's a tiny room.
so-
we really do need a studio.
so
we need
there-
a studio. We need to rent a studio to do music for Morning Moon and me and the podcast.
And the podcast, yeah. So dead 75, 76, 77, 78. This is a 4-year narrative. The Rolling Stone, all these they're running. Rock is dead. Rock is. So this is the 3rd reiteration of that. And then you get punk and
Can
new
I pause
wave.
for a second? Mm-hmm. Remember that how things go now have always gone. So all the rhetoric is rock is dead, but you had all these great bands putting out great music.
That's my
during
point.
that time.
That's my point. You always get that. That's the point of this. So
It's like they want to sell you something, so they're selling you
selling
disco,
you their
But
commodity.
Black Sabbath and all these other bands are putting out albums that are great.
but those albums are now selling.
Less because they're selling it
Zeppelin,
to somebody
Purple,
else.
Sabbath. Now there's those Zeppelin and Sabbath even. Who I mean, obviously, and you're looking. Those are the. But in 75, 76, 77, they're selling. They're selling
I'm
like
fucking around with your camera too. I'm like, hey, I can do this too. Look,
they're selling
these
like
are great bites.
they're selling like 750,000 albums instead of 5 and 6 million.
Oof.
Like okay, it was a big shift in the narrative was that this is old people music. This is dad. They were calling it like dad rock and stuff. Then all that stuff
Oh
is
my
dead.
god, for real?
Yeah, they're already old men. They're like 29. They're like these guys.
Isn't it great that like now you can like have a Apple Music account and listen to all the music that was ever made ever, and people are listening to it. And
It
being
is-
like, this is great music.
it is
even
pretty-
though it was. They're like, it's not dad rock. And, like people, like young people that like to play guitar, listen to Sabbath
it's
and all this.
everybody-
It's awesome.
Everybody still listens to Sabbath and
I
Zeppelin and
just,
Purple
like,
and
before that, when we were younger, we got pushed on us like this is the new thing. This is the new thing.
I don't know how. I just somehow missed that completely. Like I was 4 or 5 when the new wave of British heavy metal hits, and I was totally immersed in the new wave of British heavy metal. I was totally immersed in the thrash metal scene.
Right, but
totally,
you know my story. It's
I know.
Like,
It's just so that's what I'm saying. Like they were, but somehow I missed all that. I was so involved in the 70s and 80s scene and so up
Yeah.
on it. And when I was like 9.
well, I mean, when I was 9, it was like Q101. Here's Michael Jackson. And like all
Same
that.
thing here if you had, like,
But
101.
my dad loved the Beatles.
So
That's
you-
why I listened to a lot of Beatles.
So you started listening
White
to the
Album.
Beatles.
And I listened to the Beatles, and he liked Def Leppard. He listened to Def Leppard.
They're awesome.
So like I listened to Def Leppard, and I'll tell you, those dudes, their voices are amazing when they sing, and they're not using. That's back in the day when there was no pitch correction or nothing like that. Those guys are crazy awesome.
On Through the Night,
So, but-
Pyromania High and Dry.
Dude,
What incredible,
what?
incredible albums.
So like, if you want to go back and listen to some people singing and playing guitar, that's the shit.
That's the place to go.
Those are the things that people were doing that were like amazing.
So,
But well, let me just finish. Somehow I missed those. Somehow I missed Black Sabbath.
all the best bands ever made.
because
yeah.
I think that it was like I grew up really Christian, like Southern Baptist, and it was like that's satanic.
Satan writes the best music. That's
But he does write the best music.
yeah.
I think, and I still think me and you.
Or the
need to
best music is written for Satan or about Satan.
and it would be fun. It's fun to write music about Satan. It totally is.
Well,
But like, here's the thing: we need to go to the crossroads. We've been talking about it. We got to figure out when we can do that. But we're both super busy.
I know, but I do really want to do that just because it's
I want to go and I want to bring a guitar and we'll sit there and like film it and like just have a good old time sitting.
just
there.
like when I go to LA. I want to go to the Troubadour and the Rainbow and all those old places.
When is Morning Moon playing in LA?
April 13th.
April 13th.
April 13th.
So we still got some time.
With Enough's Enough.
What's the okay?
You know Enough's Enough?
Who's that?
The
I've heard of him.
Fly High Michelle.
Nah,
You don't remember that song?
No.
You probably danced to it at a prom or something.
probably.
Yeah, it was one of those power ballads, one of those '80s power
really?
ballads. Those,
They're opening.
yeah, they're opening. There's like 6 bands on the bill
What? And it's at the whiskey.
at the Whiskey a Go Go. Yeah,
Sweet. Okay.
which would be cool to be where
We're gonna do that.
all these people that we were just talking about
We'll have to
played.
fly out there. We'll fly out there and check it out.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But I want to go to all those places because they're historic, like the Rainbow and the Troubadour, and see where Lemmy sat and drank Jack Daniels every day. And I know it's probably dirty and a bunch of homeless people because in the middle of
Well, the
places
best
in the
thing
middle of
about
Sunset
it is we
Boulevard.
could just bring a tent and set up a homeless tent right there
Just
in
take
front
a
of it.
dump
and go
right in
in.
the middle of the street and just
We
be
don't-
like, hey, shit was full.
The shitter's full. We don't have to like get a hotel or nothing, and we won't get run off.
Yeah. So, but new wave and punk killed rock again. They said in '80. So you got 80, 81, 82, and then like I said, the new wave British heavy metal, and then metal takes over. Metal's the biggest thing in the world from like 82 to probably 90, 89 maybe, and then rock is dead again about 88, 89. It's cute. Rock is dead again, according to all the critics, about 88, 89, and then you have now you know what happened in 91. I finally won't have to prompt you, right?
About what?
What
Sorry.
happened in 91 while rock is no longer dead?
What, like Nirvana?
There you got one. I knew you'd get one.
Nirvana!
He got one. I always know the ones Michael get. It's the 91 to 96. He's gonna nail it.
Isn't Nirvana a clothing company?
Yeah.
No, like, these kids are all wearing Nirvana shirts. This is Nirvana with the happy face or whatever, and it's like, hey, name 3 songs. Of what? Well, you're wearing a Nirvana shirt. This is like a clothing company. No, it's not, motherfucker. It's a band.
Yeah.
It's a band, and the guy shot himself in the face with a shotgun, allegedly.
Yeah,
That
and,
it
and
wa-
then
that it
changed
was-
and then changed his handwriting on his suicide note.
Yeah,
Just
right.
is really weird.
And then they sold the coroner's like thing on shirts for him, which was totally bad taste.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That was such a bad taste.
There was a lot of bad. Dude, in the 90s, bad
didn't
taste.
know what
Bad,
was bad.
but bad taste was like the thing. Bad taste in the 90s was like who we all were. Like
Right.
as far as what we said, the off-color shit we said, the way we treated each other, the way we acted, it was all toxic. Pretty much if you look at it.
The band Collective Soul, terrible.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because then after Nirvana died, it went to all this British pop punk.
Ugh.
Remember all that? Remember that
Yeah.
scene? Blur
Yeah.
and
Oh, Blur.
Oasis, and there were like
Oh, yeah.
there is the Blur and Oasis fight, but it's no longer what I consider rock music.
Actually, Blur was pretty kick-ass. If you want to, but I know Oasis got a lot of like, oh, they're so awesome. But Oasis just copied the Beatles. They played all the Beatles chords on the. That's all they.
I'm
did.
not gonna say Oasis. Obviously, they're great.
No, Oasis is genius,
but it's not my kind of rock.
Liam also said he was better than the Beatles.
Yeah, no, that was to get attention though. That's like Trump syndrome, right? When you say when he says he's better than George Washington.
Well, you do those things just to do them, and then like Oasis is Oasis is a really great band, and you know why? Because The two you got
'Cause they
two
hate each
brothers.
other.
You got two brothers.
And they fight all the time because that causes great art. So
They hate each other.
fight, fist
then,
fight.
Then when you go do the Unplugged MTV, Liam says, "I'm not playing that shit. I'm gonna sit up here and watch my brother sing all the songs, and he's not the singer." And isn't that great? Isn't that just like rock and roll to its core?
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it
pretty
like fuck you, punk rock?
It's pretty punk rock.
Fuck you. I'm not gonna sing. I'm gonna watch my brother sing all
But
these
then
songs.
they're just insufferable douches.
Do you think that was like
No, I think they're
staged?
no, I
or
think
they
they're. I
hate
think
each other?
I think they're insufferable people.
They're insufferable.
I've never seen interviews with them where they came across as likable or cool. I've never seen, and I've watched hours and hours
Slip
as I have.
into the eye of your mind.
Yeah, and
They're awful.
and
I love not that they're awful. That was awful. But like, I really love Oasis. They're great, and they just got such a. They're like a comet, and it just is like shit falling off.
You know what
the
it
back
you
of
know
it.
what it is to
They're
me.
so great.
You know what it is to me. It's dentist chair music, elevator music.
No, it's not. They got great music.
I said, you know
man.
what it is to me.
Well, it
to
is
me,
to
my
you.
sensibilities, to my ears. It sounds
It's
like
not dentist chair music.
I've never. Yeah, it is.
No,
I've
man.
never-
They have great songs.
I never wanted to like smoke a joint when I was in college and sit down and listen to an Oasis album. And by everybody else around me did. Literally every single person around me like let's listen to the, and I would be in hell. It's insufferable.
Well, it's not a party. It's not
It's
like,
yacht
let's
rock.
party and listen to
It's a step above yacht rock,
Okay, you're
which is like Air Supply.
Oh, Air Supply's. There's a time for.
And I can
there's-
make all the stadiums rock, but I'm never gonna make it without you.
There's a time and place for Air Supply, bro.
Yeah, if you're trying to
For
like make
real.
out with a girl in 10th grade, that's
Yeah,
probably
she
Air
getting in
Supply.
them panties.
Yeah, that's probably.
what I'm talking about.
But it's not something. When I say good, I'm talking about something like I want to sit down, or I want to like we're gonna listen to, or like we're partying and we're gonna put Oasis.
what do you want to party to like Pantera and punch
if I have-
ladies in the face and throw them off the yacht?
No, you can't. If there's girls around, you can't listen to metal. That's like rule number one.
No,
like everybody knows that.
That like totally dries them up.
Yeah, you might as well take your shirt off and start trying to fight everybody. I mean, you're not. I mean, if getting laid's on the agenda, that's not going to work. Like
That's not it.
But yeah, I do want to be. I
How
do want to be in a room with people listening to Pantera, Metallica for sure back then. For sure.
Right, but how
Megadeth,
about Pantera right now getting kicked off of the Germany tours?
I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought.
Yeah.
So, it's just hard to escape that white power deal.
It is. Yeah. He fucked up.
He fucked up.
He fucked up.
And I think he just thought he was being cute or funny, but like you got to know you got to be kind of aware. I mean, I get it. Like I don't want to be political correct. I don't give a fuck. Like okay, but it might be career suicide. In 2020. You can't say shit like that. You can't think it. You can't say.
Go to Germany and start throwing out the Hail Hitlers.
Well, he had done that. You know, he had marched and done the white power. He did the
Yeah,
Nazi
I know.
march and did the white power at a concert. At a concert.
In Germany, where it's illegal.
And I'm just gonna say, as a Pantera fan,
I'm a huge Pantera.
somebody, and I've seen him 9 times. I've definitely heard Phil say some off-color shit
No shit.
more than once.
Oh, of course. I've been in
more than one, and I mean really off-color, Mike.
I've been in rooms with Phil Anselmo when we were in KWB.
Yes.
In Metairie.
So you've probably heard him say some crazy things,
And-
right?
And we had to leave.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want anything. To
I know the story, but
blah,
yeah,
blah,
yeah,
blah.
yeah. You don't want that to blow up.
I don't
yeah.
want that to blow up, but like this shit's out of control. He's out of control. He was out.
He
of
was
control
out of
then.
control.
He was out of control. I don't know who he is now. He probably wouldn't even know who I am. But I've been in a room with Phil Anselmo and all those guys, and things went down, and it was fucked up.
Yeah, I just say he said some things before in concert where I was like, I can't believe he said that, but it was really pre-internet. You know, this was the 90s, early 2000s when I saw. Man, one time, I mean, it would be all over the internet now. One time he went up there for like 20 minutes and just railed about
Ranting.
about Metallica. What a
Really?
piece? Yeah, just went off on them like, fuck those guys, pussies, like blah, blah, just going.
That's terrible because Metallica's awesome.
And Pantera used to cover Metallica and love it.
I know.
You could see Dimebag up there, like every time he'd say something weird, he'd be getting uncomfortable, like, "Oh, yeah, you shut up." But it's the lead singer; he's got the mic. We can't. You got 28,000 people out there, like.
Hey, our lead singer's on heroin, and he's talking about Metallica being the terrible band of all time, and they're awesome.
Yeah, and we like Metallica. Those are our friends. We'd like to play with them, maybe. And now he's up here.
I would like to be on a tour with them where I make $1 million. Thank you very
And
much.
the thing was, nobody in the crowd was getting into it because everybody in the crowd's like, I love Metallica. This is like when Metallica's Metallica.
It's like we listen to Pantera, and we listen to Metallica, and we listen to Megadeth.
Yeah,
What?
so you wouldn't want to be talking. So these out there just talking mad shit about. But this is and it's well documented. This is in the height of
You
Phil's
gotta remember
heroin
that like
addiction.
Phil has a whole thing where he says like he was in a lot of pain from his back, and he did heroin,
Yeah.
and heroin took care of the pain, and then he said a lot of crazy shit, and he blames all the crazy shit he said on heroin.
Probably true.
And
Probably true.
That's probably
But
true.
you don't get it. You don't get a pass
But
all the way.
dude, you're like you're in the public eye, and you're doing heroin and getting on stages and playing shows in front of thousands of people. Get your shit together, bro. If your back hurts, don't do the shows. Get the fucking surgery.
Well,
And he did get the surgery.
I saw him in the height of that, and he'd be laying on stage, on stage singing. I saw that.
Laying on the ground.
Front row Joe, 10 feet from him, I saw it. Like him laying down. But obviously, I saw them 9 times for a reason. I think they're fucking tremendous.
They're
I love
amazing.
them.
What do you think about the new? What's I haven't been looking, but you can see where like people are talking about them playing, and is it awesome or is it not awesome?
It's pretty awesome. It's actually really awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, Zach Wilde doesn't sound like Dime. He sounds like Zach Wilde, which to
Of
me
course.
is better. Like I think Zach's better than Dime.
Zach's better than.
I know it's blasphemy to say
But
because one
not
of
in
them
Pantera.
just
no
in general,
way, bro.
Just in general.
No.
Yeah.
No. Zach Wilde doesn't play those songs better than the
I'm
guy that wrote
no,
the songs.
no. I'm saying so he plays in Zach Wilde's style, more of a Dimebag style.
But it's cool.
Super
that
cool.
way?
It's super. I love Dime, but I know when someone's dead. I know if they were both alive, it'd probably be 70. It'd be 60-40, 70-30. People say yes. I like. Some would say they like Zach more. Some would
Let's
say
kill the podcast with all the metalheads. Who's a better guitarist, Zach Wilde or
or who?
Dimebag Darrell?
Zach Wilde.
He's a better guitarist.
To me,
Yeah.
he understands music theory way more.
Really?
100%. Dime didn't really know any.
Well,
And Zach's a student.
But Dime and his brother. They're both dead now. Rest their
I
souls.
love Dime, so I don't want to. I
They
mean,
played from when they were kids. They were brothers, and they played, and it was great.
So
Now it's over.
so did Zach. You want to know you want to hear something cool though about that I found the other day that I didn't know about Zach Wilde. Do you know that he was at a wedding in 1987 for John Bon Jovi's brother? And do you know who ended up doing an impromptu, got on the stage and performed with the wedding band? Zach Wilde. But furthermore, I want to say, and then guess who else happened to be in the audience? This is before either one of these people are known at all. Zach works at a gas station. The other guy's unemployed. The other guy who grabs the mic and sings at this wedding, and somebody has a VHS of it. That's how I found it online.
Right?
Was Sebastian Bach.
No way.
And then, so Zach Wilde was at the crowd at Bon Jovi's brother's wedding, and Sebastian Bach was at the crowd. Both of them were nobodies. Both of them didn't know each other. Zach grabs a guitar, starts playing a whole lot of love on stage.
No way.
Grabs a guitar. Sebastian Bach, a nobody Sebastian Bach, gets on stage and starts singing. And Sebastian and Zach Wilde have a Led Zeppelin jam session at John Bon Jovi's brother's wedding in 1987. Before these people, anyone knows who they are, have ever seen them. They do this jam, and from that jam, Sebastian Bach gets the gig with Skid Row.
Are you serious?
Because John Bon Jovi saw him and was was friends with the guitarist for Skid Row and told him, "Hey, I saw this guy at his wedding, and you need to find out who it was. He was at my brother's wedding, and I think that should be your singer." And that became Skid Row's singer.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
And the footage exists, which is, it's grainy as shit from 1980s.
I bet.
But if you guys want to check something cool out, y'all like music, like go check that. And there might even be like, I don't want to say who the drummer was. It might have been like Jason Bonham or something happened to be in the audience and ended up playing drums. It's a wild to think that they were just teenagers
That's crazy.
and both became megastars a year later. 1 year later.
That's wild.
And do you know?
Well, you know how good. Well, here's the thing: when you're an amazing singer and you sing and you don't need any help, I feel like you make it. Then nowadays, when you're like good looking and you can kind of sing, there's all this computer stuff that helps you.
that helps move it along.
That helps move it along because it's like you're the package. You can kind of sing. but we have this program that makes you sing amazing.
I mean,
now you're singing in key.
You're talking about a 1987 Sebastian Bach, though, like 6'3",
That's what I'm saying
long
about
blonde
like
hair,
that.
sings like a bird.
That's what I'm saying about Def Leppard. You go back to those songs and you hear them hitting those harmonies and singing like that. I feel like they used their vocals to program the things that make your vocals sound better now. Like they were that good. Like,
Yeah.
When you hear them sing Photograph or like all those songs and they're harmonizing together, they didn't have computer programs that harmonize like that.
That's
And
people.
it's just people harmonizing with people.
That's why I love bands that try to do as much as they can on their without as much as you can. You're going to use some of it now.
And now it's just like you push a button and it'll harmonize and do those things. And it's almost like they recorded those guys and was like, this is how this works. And now here's the program. You push the button
and you become
and now you sound like Def Leppard.
Yeah.
Because they had perfect pitch. Perfect pitch.
So did Sebastian. My gosh.
Oh yeah, Sebastian Bach.
He's an all-time greatest. I mean, as far as pure vocals,
I feel like these guys that like sing like that actually owe them money to like Antares.
Who money?
Like Antares is like a pitch correction company.
Oh yeah. Oh, because you think the pitch like stole their perfect pitch
They
and like
stole their perfect pitch.
Yeah, but you don't know who they stole it from. They could.
They didn't steal the perfect pitch from them because there is perfect pitch. If you do a 440,
there's people
like,
that have it. Yeah,
if you do a 440 like thing, whatever, people have perfect pitch. But like these guys had perfect pitch, and now it's like when we were talking about last time, where like these guys are like playing on blah blah and like screaming, and then they go in these choruses and they do these like perfect harmonies. They're not doing those harmonies. It's a machine doing those harmonies in that metal music.
Yeah, some of it they are doing the harmonies though. I bet.
I would like to know who is.
Yeah.
I don't know who's doing the real ones. I don't think they are. I think it's really easy.
Well,
now.
but you got to be able to say I got to pull it off live, and I'm going to pull it off live without anything except
you
maybe.
can pull it off live with the machines.
Yeah.
The machines do it live. They do it live now.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Those machines do it live now. They do it live now. You don't have to have.
But it's not everything.
The bass
it's
player.
not every. It's just
the bass player doesn't have to harmonize with you because you have a machine that harmonizes with you through the guitar. It's not even your vocal. Like the other thing is like there are these machines that like, you plug your guitar into, and you push a pedal and it harmonizes with the guitar chords you're playing, and you sing and it harmonizes with the chords, not your vocal.
I don't care. There'll always be something special about 4 or 5 dudes, their instruments, mics, and doing the thing.
Of course.
That'll never
go away.
It can't go away.
That won't go away.
Yeah.
But as of late,
it's faded.
it sucks.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys next time, I guess.
Bye, everyone. We will see you next time.
I feel like that was a long one.